Good evening, this is the New Dawn FM News in English, read to you by Aloysius Laukai. First, the headlines. Bougainville declares state of emergency. Bank says it's business as usual. Member for South Bougainville opens new classroom in his electorate. Health centers in Bougainville lack human resources, and candidates want to have good physical health before deciding to serve. Now the news in detail. The autonomous Bougainville government this afternoon declared state of emergency due to the growing concern over the COVID-19 pandemic. ABG President Grand Chief Dr. John Momis made the declaration following lengthy discussions with the Bougainville Executive Council today. This follows the state of emergency declared by Prime Minister James Marape yesterday throughout Papua New Guinea for the next 14 days, with all domestic flights cancelled throughout the country. Under the Bougainville Emergency Law, the Bougainville Executive Council or the President can declare an emergency under Section 196, 197, 198 and up to 200, which talks about when an emergency can be declared and for a period of 21 days. Emergency can be declared if there is an earthquake or natural disaster, or if there is an outbreak of an infectious disease. This declaration means that the issue of writs for the Bougainville election will have to wait and until the 21 days have lapsed, or if the situation has changed, resulting in the revoking of the emergency. The controller of the emergency and Bougainville Police Commander Assistant Commissioner Francis Tokura and his deputy will be the Chief Secretary, retired Colonel Thomas Rivet. They will announce the details of this emergency tomorrow. This emergency will restrict public gatherings and public markets throughout the region. In government circles, all non-essential staff will be asked to self-isolate for the next 21 days to avoid the contracting and spreading of novel coronavirus. Up until now, Bougainville has no confirmed case of coronavirus, but President Momis said that prevention was better than cure. He said that Bougainville does not have the capacity to handle this pandemic and has to make this tough decision to protect its citizens. President Momis' talk will be uploaded on New Dawn FM YouTube page, in which we will provide the link. Meanwhile, the Bank of South Pacific branch in Buka will operate as usual, limiting the number of customers at any one time. Buka BSP branch managers Ms. Julie Warren advised the customers that the bank will comply with trading hours, except that they will be taking in certain number of customers at one time to minimize overcrowding and in terms of social distancing. She said that they will continue to encourage customers to practice preventive and hygienic measures throughout this time. The member for South Bougainville Open Electorate and Minister for Information, Communication and Technology, Timothy Masiu, has graced his people of Wizai with a first government-funded classroom for Kulula Primary School after more than 50 years of existence. The two-in-one classroom funded from his DSIP fund at a cost of $250,000 was finally opened last week, Wednesday, by the Honorable Minister after two postponements due to heavy work schedule. The Catholic Agency School, where Mr. Masiu began his education, has strived for over 56 years of education service to the Wizai people with the support from the people and the church. A proud school board of management and parents hailed the new classroom as a much-needed and welcome addition to the school's infrastructure development and appeal to the member to continue his support to develop the school to a higher level. The people of Kulula were assured by Mr. Masiu that Kulula Primary School will go through phased development and announced that another classroom will be built soon and two more to be built before his term in Parliament ends. Mr. Masiu also announced that Wizai and Hairu Primary Schools have also received assistance, while Lehu, Yuno and Akanai will also be receiving similar support. He told his people that he and his DDA board placed education as top priority. That is why a lot of financial resources was being channeled to the education sector for infrastructure development as well as school fee support program. He also made a commitment to continue the support for tertiary students, which benefited over 2,000 students in the past 2 years. You're listening to New Dawn FM News in English. According to the resident medical officers from the Arawa District Hospital, there is not enough human resource in the health sector throughout Bougainville. Resident Medical Officer Spencer Gimson and his colleagues, while visiting the health centers all throughout Bougainville, noticed that there are many aid posts and health centers with not enough medical officers available. Mr. Gimson raised a concern about the insufficient services that people are receiving from the small number of health workers in the region. He said that shortage of proper accommodation, inadequate salary of the health workers is another issue that hinders other medical doctors from outside provinces to come and work in the region. Mr. Gimson said Bougainvilleans must take education seriously, as Bougainville really needs all fields of experts to run the emerging country. He encouraged the youths in the region to do away from unproductive activities and to put more effort in educating themselves and value education for a better Bougainville in the future. Now to end the news, a medical officer at the Arawa Hospital, Dr. Joe Vilosi, says intending candidates for the upcoming election should have good physical health before going into the parliament to serve the people. Dr. Vilosi said physical health is very important to consider, as it can affect performance in the parliament, and candidates must consider their health if they are to serve effectively. He said it is good to have criteria that require candidates to have a medical certificate to exclude all sorts of sicknesses like heart problems, diabetes, and other illnesses. All candidates must check medically to see if they are fit to deliver a service, he said. Dr. Vilosi said that age is also one of the factors that can affect politicians' performance in parliament. He explained that when a person starts getting older, the cells that gives the full capacity to neutralize the brain starts loosening. That can result in producing poor outcome. He also appealed to the public to study and observe the candidates if they are healthy enough to operate effectively before casting their votes. This has been the New Dawn FM News in English. You can also see our news on the websites on www.bougainvillenews.com, www.bougainville.typet.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. On behalf of the news team, I'm Aloysius Laukai. You have a pleasant evening.